We are here with Trisha Smith, Director of Development, Marketing, and Communications with the United Way of Johnson and Washington Counties. Thanks for sitting down with us, Trisha.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, and we wanted to sit down with Trisha because we're recognizing United Way as our partner of impact at Big Brothers Big Sisters of Johnson County. So I've got a few questions for Trisha, and hopefully we'll make her sweat. We'll make some of them really hard. No, not really. But the basics to start with, Trisha, can you put in your own words, what is United Way for people who maybe have heard of it but aren't too sure exactly what you do?
Absolutely. When I think about the United Way, I describe us as taking a balcony approach to human services. So we sit back in a community, remove ourselves a little bit, and look around and identify what are the needs of that community and what are the agencies that are being the most forward-thinking, fiscally responsible, and ethically practicing. And first of all, we align ourselves with those agencies. So in Johnson and Washington County, we have 32 partner agencies, and we work with them on both a development side, so doing that reach. Over half of those agencies do not have a development director or development staff to support them. And so we utilize our services to get into the door into companies or agencies that some, if not all of them, would not be able to enter. And we're able to share what they're doing and how they're doing it. We also provide a network of support with the other agencies for them so that an individual who comes into crisis, on average, that individual needs about 3 agencies to be successful again. And so we want to make sure all of those agencies are there so that network, like I just said, is available for them to touch. Whether it's a large service or a small service, it's just as valuable to that family or to that individual. So we're sure that that stuff is there for them.
And you mentioned 32 agencies, so I don't need you to list everyone or expect you to know them off the top of your head, but can you give us kind of categories of services that would be most prominently
Absolutely.
featured?
So our agencies generally fall under the umbrella of education, financial stability, and health. So interwoven into that are things like hunger, food insecurity, crisis, safety, things like learning to balance your checkbook financially, learning to control your finances. There are services that include those for medical needs for the underinsured or the not insured. So really they do fall under those 3 pillars primarily, and they are services both to individuals, children, and families.
Great, thank you. And you told me something remarkable before we started filming here about United Way coming up on a big mark. So can you kind of share the story of how you guys came to exist, or how United Way has grown and changed over that period?
Absolutely. So United Way, first of all, nationally, if you want to kind of take a joke to it, it starts out with a woman, a priest, a minister, and there's a third in there, and they walk into a bar in Denver. So there you go. So it starts out as a joke. But the reality is it did start out with them coming together and aligning because they were all providing services, and talked about could we be stronger if we unified our services. And so it kind of grew out of there in the nationwide effort. Johnson County, however, and Washington County are both under our umbrella, but we began in Johnson County, and it was very progressive because 100 years ago, starting next year, so that'll be our year celebration, Johnson County formed United Way. And the first official names of it started out as like the Community Chest, Community Caring, and then it evolved into what is now United Way of Johnson and Washington Counties.
Started out as a Monopoly game piece.
It absolutely did. It did, and hopefully, there wasn't much of a fight over who got to be the dog. Or
And do you know the history of United Way's support of Big Brothers Big Sisters? Because you guys are great supporters of us. We cannot support anywhere near the number of kids that we do with one-to-one mentoring relationships that change kids' lives and change their families' lives without your support. Can you tell us anything about that?
Absolutely. So, we talked about, the value of our partner agencies because we reach out to them to find out who they are, but they also reach out to us. And actually, over 25 years ago, Big Brothers Big Sisters connected with United Way. And to expand a little bit on what you just said is that we're here to flow dollars and support for you into those actual services of impact. And so getting a little more familiar with how we partner with agencies in the community, each year our agencies put in what's for lack of a better term, a grant request. And they let us know what they need to provide for services and how much will that cost them this year. And they provide that request into our system, and Big Brothers and Big Sisters have done that. And then a community group of volunteers actually reviews those requests, and they go out and do site visits at each of those agencies, interview staff, interview the executive director, clients, learn more about what the request is for. And then they come back together and they take a look at what dollars have been allocated through the community, what the asks are of the partner agencies, and they try and align those dollars and make a formal recommendation to the United Way board. It's quite a process, and it's incredibly impactful if you experience going out to those sites and visiting Big Brothers and Big Sisters and seeing them in action. It really leaves a mark on your heart, and we're very appreciative for that experience. But we also are realistic, and we know the needs continue to grow. And wouldn't it be wonderful to say that the dollars we raised this year were more than the dollars that were asked for by our partner agencies? Wouldn't it be neat to, if we could move that needle just a little bit and bring it to that point? Because right now we always have to make a decision. We never have enough money to support the need. So eventually, by relationships like Big Brothers and Big Sisters and sharing what you do, we're hoping we can educate the community on what they can do to make that impact. But we also move on to the next step where we identify initiatives in the community where things change, and maybe there's a new need that's surfaced, and maybe a partner agency has not had a chance to put their arm around that yet. And so we want to respond to that need without delay. And so we have created things like literacy kits. We've done things like the Money Smart Financial Stability class. And one of our newest initiatives is that this year we're creating a pilot program in the Iowa City Community School District high schools. And we're bringing mindfulness to the high school level. We're working, in fact, today on training some of their staff as well as some of their students to be peer advocates on mindfulness and how they can share the tools of using mindfulness to de-escalate, to bring anxiety down, to lower stress levels, to have a clearer picture at what they're experiencing. And for those of you who don't know mindfulness or maybe not familiar with the term right now, mindful is a simple way in which you can do a very private experience or exercise that allows you to refocus, that allows you to bring some clarity into the moment so that you are able maybe to see more options, maybe to see a way out of a situation that you may not have been able to see when you're escalated. And so we want to provide those skills because we all know leaving high school and moving into the world is quite a step, whether that world is further academics, or that world is going into a trade program, or going right into the workforce. Many of us leave prepared academically, but not necessarily prepared emotionally. And we want to make sure that offering is out there. And so we've created this initiative, and we're really seeing very promising results already. Really, the next level is going to be then to bring it into the workforce. We all know that when our employees are happy, or when we personally as an employee are experiencing a good culture in our work environment, we want to stay there, we want to do better, we want to do more for that job experience. But we have found, and we know studies show that with mindfulness training, it can decrease absenteeism, it can increase your health level. So there are a lot of positive results that hopefully we can move to the next step into bringing it into those companies in our community.
Awesome. And can you help people understand what % of their donations to the United Way go to administrative costs versus program support?
First of all, if you were to pledge $1 to United Way today, if you were to hand me $1, I can clearly tell you that of that dollar, 99% of that is going to stay locally in some way, shape, or form. And that may be through community impact and spreading that dollar down into community impact. It might be an initiative like the mindfulness that we just talked about. 99% of that, it could be to have this session right here and to pay for this way to educate people about United Way, about Big Brothers, Big Sisters, about our community and what we do. But if you even want to drill deeper into that, 82 cents of every dollar is going to go right to community impact. And that's a pretty high percentage. If you want to look at the Charity Navigator, it's a great way to gear your charitable giving and where you feel you can trust your dollar to reside with. And as a 4-star Charity Navigator, which is the highest rating 2 years in a row, we're very proud to say that we're making sure we stay very lean so your dollar goes into the community.
That's awesome. What would you say is your favorite part about working for United Way, Trisha?
My favorite part is probably not the live video interview, I fully admit.
You're doing
my, my favorite part of working with the United Way is, first of all, the people that we as a whole staff, as well as myself, have the pleasure of meeting. And they're coming from all different walks of life. I have a social work background, so I have to say my absolute favorite group in there is knowing that every day when I come to work, I can make a difference in someone's opportunity. I can't change a life, it's not possible, but I can create opportunities with my job. And I feel very blessed to have that ability to do that. But I also get to extend that out to, I get to connect people with people. So whether maybe that's a volunteer experience that our community impact is hosting, whether that's an actual event that we're having. We recently did a student desk build and had a great success with distributing into the community over 40 student desks and chairs that allow the students to have their own learning space. And it's little things like that that just make me get up every day and think I can't wait to go to work.
And I know that that desk build was really identified as a big need in the community. That was one of our top performing social media posts in the last 6 months, was when we shared out about that. So you guys are definitely finding the right things, the right niches that there are needs in, and helping to fill them. And what about if you had a magic wand, Trisha, and you could change one thing about United Way? You've got unlimited power. What would you change?
The magic wand question. I used to have one of those clear wands that when you tipped it, the stars would glitter down. And when I left a couple previous positions ago, I kind of bequested it on. And I said,
Yeah.
you have the magic wand now, you know, and I'm kind of wishing I had it back. But the reality is that I think it's just having the opportunity for people to see what we do. I think people are not as educated yet in our community about what United Way does and how many lives United Way touches. And I would just love to be able to have the forum and the ability to bring in a literacy kit, to bring in someone who had had a positive experience with the United Way and show them how we build for the future. We don't build to sustain someone in the position they're in, we build for the future. And I would just love it if everybody could see that.
Gotcha. And last question for you. What do you think is the one most essential thing that every community member that we live with, our neighbors, our friends, people watching this, should know about the United Way?
That's a great question. And someone actually just recently said, give me 5 things about the United Way that everybody should know, and go. And I was like, oh my gosh, I'm on the spot here. So
I'll only make you do one.
you only have one. And actually, we've shared quite a few of them already. But I think the one thing I really want people to know is that we are a one-stop shop for investing your dollar in the community. We can stretch that dollar and use that dollar to its absolute best capacity. And so you're doing the most good with that $1 for the most people in our community. And that would be the one thing I would take away with that.
And I'll give you one last bonus question. If people want to connect with United Way on social media or any other ways, where do you recommend that they go to?
Absolutely. We are on multiple platforms. So it depends on your generation is how I should answer this question. So we'll start with people more of my generation, I'll fully admit. Facebook is our premier social media platform, and you can find us at United Way of Johnson and Washington counties. You can also find us on Instagram at UWJWC, on Twitter also at UWJWC. We just started a Snapchat platform, so you're more than welcome to jump onto there and follow us on Snapchat. The same letters to try and get some consistency here, UWJWC. But you can also reach out to us. We've got, of course, our interactive website. You can reach at unitedwayjwc.org. Great little exercise on there. You can put in what $1 gives. So you can say, if I give $10, what's the impact in the community? And it'll pull up examples for you of what your impact is. So you certainly can interact with that media. But if all else fails, you know, we're kind of friendly. You can pick up the phone, give
The
us
what?
a call. I know, it's a concept. And you can even do a landline. I know that's even crazier. But pick up the phone, give us a call, 319-338-7823. As for anyone here on the team, we love to engage with people. We love to answer questions that they have about United Way or about anybody in our community that we're partnering with, or any needs that are being addressed in our community. They certainly can do that as well. Or they're welcome to email me at trisha.smith@unitedwayjwc.org.
Awesome. Well, we will give you a follow on Instagram. We just started on there this week, actually, Big Brothers Big Sisters of Johnson County. So
Congratulations.
thank you. And thank you again and to all your colleagues, all the partner agencies that you work with for the awesome work that you guys are doing, Trisha, to help connect people to meaningful resources and huge impact here locally. It's great.
Thank you, and thank you so much for highlighting us. We really appreciate that gift as well.
You got it.